Hey guys, it's Ashley, and today I'm going to be doing the Guilty Reader book tag. This tag was created by Chami over at Read Like Wildfire, and she tagged me in this original tag video, and I was like, okay, I'm so excited, let's do this. I can't say that I'm gonna have a really great answer for any of these because I am so the, I want to follow the rules, go by the book person that you'll know, so I never really do anything that's I need to be guilty about, but we'll see what happens. So the first question is, have you ever re-gifted a book that you've been given? I haven't re-gifted a book, but I have given away books that I've been given as gifts or just given in general. I have a whole pile of books right next to my bookshelf that is just me needing to give those away to either Goodwill or to a used bookstore or something like that. And some of those books that I have in that pile, I have been given. So I wouldn't say that I have ever re-gifted a book, but I have gotten rid of books that I have been given. So I don't know if that's the same thing, but that's what I'm gonna use for an answer for this. Question 2 is, have you ever said you've read a book when you really haven't? Of course I have. Especially for school, and who hasn't? When your teacher asks you, oh, did you read the entirety of A Tale of Two Cities over summer break? And you're supposed to say, yes, I did, because you were supposed to, but in reality, no. No, you skipped the middle 20 chapters of A Tale of Two Cities or of Tess of the D'Urbervilles because it was just so boring and you got tired of Dickens or Hardy constantly talking about the landscape. No, I didn't read this. What? No. My AP Lit summer reading assignment was to read Tess of the D'Urbervilles by Thomas Hardy, and it's a classic book. If you haven't read it, please don't. I don't like it, but I mean, everybody to their own opinion. Literally, like I just said, the middle 20 chapters was all about Tess, doing nothing and just talking about the landscape. And I didn't want to read about that, so I just skipped to the good parts, which in fact ended up being none of the book. So the whole book is really sad and like a tragedy, and it's awful, so I don't recommend it, honestly. But yeah, the answer is yes, I have said that I've read a book when I haven't, and I have no shame in that, especially if it's for school. Have you ever borrowed a book and not returned it? No. No, I will always return books that I've borrowed. I've borrowed other things and not returned it. I've borrowed video games from people and still have them in my closet. So no, not books. Hoping to keep up that track record. Have you ever read a series out of order? No, no, no. And if you have, what kind of anarchy are you living in? How do you do that? I don't understand. I get if you read multiple series out of order. If you read The Infernal Devices before The Mortal Instruments, even though The Mortal Instruments was published first, I get that. But not individual books in a series out of order. What? Who are you? 5 is, have you ever spoiled a book for someone? And the answer to this is yes and no, and I'll explain why. No, because literally everybody in my family likes to know what's going to happen in either a movie or a book or a TV show before they watch it / read it. And it doesn't make any sense to me at all. My sister legitimately will look up the plot to a TV show and read about exactly what happens before she watches the show. I don't understand how she does that. So technically, if I'm reading a book and she wants to know what it's about, and I'm like, I don't want to spoil you, and she's like, no, but I want to know what's gonna happen before I read it. I'm like, what are you who are you? But also yes, because if any of you have watched my Totally Didn't book tag, you will know why. And if any of you haven't watched it and you're probably wondering, I didn't know she had a Totally Didn't book tag, that's because I took it down because I apparently spoiled so many people for Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I had just assumed that there were a lot of people who had read it already. I didn't put a spoiler warning before that question, so yeah. Have you ever doggy-eared a book? As in folded the page down instead of put a bookmark in it? And yes, of course I have. I honestly don't know who hasn't, especially when you were a kid and that's was the easier thing to do than to grab a bookmark. Now I try to use a bookmark as much as possible, but if it's a book that I really don't care that much about, then I'll still doggy ear it. Have you ever told somebody that you don't own a book when you really do? I can't think of a specific instance where I've ever done this. I don't think that I have. I don't know, maybe I have, but I don't remember what it was if I did, so sorry. Have you ever told somebody that you haven't read a book when you really have? I don't think that I have, because to be completely honest, I try my hardest at every point in my life to brag about how much I've read, especially to the people around me who don't read, because it just makes me feel better about myself. Plus, maybe if I like brag about the number of books that I've read so many times, and they're like, oh my god, that's really cool, I want to start reading, and then I'll get somebody else into reading too. I mean, it could have either effect, you know? Who knows? Who knows? Have you ever skipped a chapter or a section of a book? Yes, I think I talked about this earlier with like the whole Tess of the D'Urbervilles thing. Yes, I have. How can you read 20 chapters of nothing but description about landscape and not get bored? I don't understand. So yes, I have 100% skipped chapters or sections of books, and there's no shame in that. As long as you understand what's going on, you're good. And the last question is, have you ever badmouthed a book that you actually liked? And yes, I probably have, when it comes to The Mortal Instruments. I feel really guilty actually about saying this one because we all know that I really love The Mortal Instruments, but when it comes to trying to explain The Mortal Instruments to people who don't read or to people who just don't understand it or don't like fantasy books, no, I just trying to explain like, yeah, so there are these kids, they're like 15, they fight demons, there's also vampires and werewolves and warlocks and fairies and stuff, and they all live in New York, and like, do you know how weird that sounds to somebody who doesn't read or doesn't know what you're talking about? It sounds very weird. So I don't know if I've ever badmouthed a book, but I've definitely downplayed a book, especially The Mortal Instruments, when I'm trying to explain it to somebody. You'll say something like, oh, it's urban fantasy, so it's got, you know, like some magic in it, some demons in it, you know, people who fight things, but I won't give like very specific information because I'm afraid it'll ward people off of the series. So that's my answer for that one. But honestly, if you don't want to read The Mortal Instruments, then it's fine by me. I don't care. Do what you want. Like, I'm not gonna stop you. And so that is the Guilty Reader book tag. I told you I didn't have very great answers, but I hope some of these worked. So thanks, Chami, for tagging me. I'm gonna tag Hannah from A Clockwork Reader, Brandon from Brandon the Book Addict, and Robby from Robby Reads. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you later. Goodbye!